Alright, well, if you have a little bit of sense of humor about you, I can prove to you two very important things. One, where the root of all evil lies, and two, why men and women belong together and have to be equal for the world to run smoothly. So I know the two seem kind of out of place, but I promise you they run very well together. Through some mathematical equations I've created, I have found the root of all evil. Now I know it seems weird to find an equation to define evil, but how else could I prove something without math, right? Because statistics, opinions can all be doubted, but math is something that cannot be doubted. It's proof. It's literal proof if it can be proved. And evil, by definition, is found throughout history by different people. It's defined by different people in different ways. But as a majority in our country, we define Donald Trump to be evil, right? As a majority, we define him to be evil. A year ago, right-wing conservatives would consider Barack Obama to be evil. 70 years ago, we consider Adolf Hitler to be evil. Now, it's weird to me because these people weren't evil before, apparently, because what they did is they were elected into power, right? But power is where it's at. Because in our scriptures, we learn that absolute power corrupts absolutely. And that word absolutely means, with the absolution of power, it will corrupt, making power evil. And so if power is evil, I had something that I could then kind of base something off of, because power isn't necessarily quantifiable, something I could plug into an equation, but I had something. In my social studies textbook, known as A Better World Tomorrow, I found that mercantilism means that the countries with the most money had the most power. We find that in our country as well, right? We find that lobbyists or politicians in Wall Street, whoever gives them the most money kind of has more say. It's what we believe, right? So the ones with the more money have the more power. So we find that power is evil, but money is power. And money is something that is quantifiable. It's easily measured, right? So I just had to find something that I could plug that variable into that is used with everything. I mean, something my dad used to tell me when I was a kid was, you know, son, if you wanted to have a happy relationship with a woman, if you wanted a wife and always keep her happy, you're always going to need to invest two things, money and time. My mom said something similar to my little sisters, and she'd say, baby girls, you know, if you get down, if you get sad sometimes, you're just going to need to put a little money and time into yourself. And so we laugh, but those things are used on both sides of the playing field, right? We find that women on both sides need money and time. Time and money are two different variables. They're measured in different ways, right? But if I wanted to use the two in the same way, I'd say time is money. And that's a common phrase that we all know. But actually, an Oxford professor created an equation to prove that time was money. He found that our hourly wage divided by the cost of living increase plus the inflation rate divided by 60 found how much every minute we spent was worth. He found that every minute we had literally had a monetary value. That's very important to me. It means that we're literally worth something. Every minute we're here on this earth is worth something. But that was something, anyway. It was something that I could plug in that equation, because time is money. Thus, our equation women equals money time could be simplified to women equals money money, or money squared. So women, then, since money is power, and power is evil, we find that women equal evil squared. Evil, evil. But if we want to simplify that equation, because it gets even better, if we want to simplify that equation, we take the square root of it, right? Because the square root of something squared is just simplified. So we find that women are the root of all evil, right? Well, that's not necessarily the case, because if we do that to one side, we have to do it to the other side. So we'd find the root of all women is evil, and that's something that would give me a lot of flack outside. So what I did, in order to take that squared out and simplify that equation, I needed something that would zero it out, right? And so in my marriage and family classes, in family relations, we found that there's been a rise in the industrialized woman, right? Meaning that women are working more now than they ever have in the past. Usually in the past, and women have always been known to be the homemakers, the nurturers, the women that take care of the kids, cook and clean. While men went to work, women were at home. But now, that's all changed. Women are working more than ever and keeping up with men, right? And so we find that you would think, with a correlation, you'd find a rise in industrialized women, you'd find a rise in homemaking men. It's not the case. Instead, women are now homemakers more than ever. They're still the homemakers, but they're also keeping up with men on that weight of their shoulders with working. Meaning that men, because they can't adapt, because they can't keep up with women, because women can do anything they can do and do it better, men are nothing. Men equals 0. But that's something I can plug into my equation, right? And then, if we have, because women equals evil squared times men, right there, we can zero out our equation. And the reason I can plug that into the equation is because men need women, right? It makes them feel more than what they are. Women give men a purpose in life. It makes them want to be more than nothing. And men give women money and time. So we find anything times 0 is 0. So we find that women equals 0 after multiplied by men, or women equals men. And that's basically what I came to, was that women and men are equal, or they have to be at least, for the world to run smoothly. Men and women are equal and they belong together, because women and women is too much evil and men is nothing. Nothing gets accomplished. So men and women have to work together and they have to be equal for the world to run smoothly, for the universe to run smoothly. And so I beg you to share this equation, or to help the world come to a more equal place, because in our country right now that's not the case. One is above and one is below, and that's never true. What's true is men and women are equal. Every person is equal. No one's above and no one's below, and I hope no one ever believes that. But it is our job, it's our duty, and I hope you can do that, is spread that message that we should all be equal. No one above, no one below. And work together. Thank you.